January 17th, 2026. I'm already on my way back to Utah. The day went pretty good. I'm obviously tired. I'll start with my thought of the day. I had this phrase pop into my mind today, and thus the question, what is algorithmic resonance? I'm not even entirely sure why it popped into my mind, but what I think of when I think of algorithmic resonance would be the concept of an echo chamber. When people think about the things they choose to accept or want to hear, and they dive into those forums or those I guess doom scrolls, their Facebook page or whatever, and it just kind of feeds them all the same thing that reinforces or seems to reinforce what they believe already, or the opinions they already hold. And it just, in a sense, enhances, or I'm not sure if enhances is the right word, but reinforces those opinions or beliefs. And reinforcing opinions, regardless if they're right or wrong, is sometimes dangerous, or often dangerous, maybe, even if they're right. Maybe making a statement like that is kind of needs to be justified in a way. I don't really want to, I guess, dive in on that idea too much right now, but I guess that's, to me, what algorithmic resonance is. And it kind of, what I think can happen is, I think it's kind of two directions of resonance here. I think the algorithm feeds us what we want to hear, but also I think it I think it does change what we want to hear as well. Like, it doesn't just give us what we're asking for, but it makes us want what it's giving us. Does that make sense? I think both parts of that equation are part of part of what I guess algorithmic resonance is, but also I think that's part of how it works. And maybe that's always how it's been. I think that might be the same for maybe like a religion, or maybe like somebody joining the army or military, just in general, where people go for structure to contribute to a greater thing, and that greater thing teaches them how to contribute to make the greater thing better. I don't think I'm explaining it very, very well. But anyway, I think the concept isn't really actually that deep, but I do think it's just a sort of a different way of seeing or recognizing how things work in general, how the world works. If you know anything about like music, or maybe it doesn't even have to be music, but there's this kind of thing that happens when two tones are played by two different instruments at the same time. I can't remember the term for it, but when they're both trying to hit the same note, but they're just a tiny bit different, you kind of start to hear this, like, I don't know what the term is, I can't remember, but I think of it as warbling, where those two tones they almost start to perfectly sync, and there's this sort of different sound that kind of comes out of it. And kind of, I think the physics of it is the waves of sound, the sound waves, which are so close in sound, meaning their frequency will be nearly identical, start to kind of align each other. Like the waves, I think because of the nature of waves, they start to synchronize. And as they're doing that, that's kind of, what's that additional weird sound you're hearing, that warbling sound? Well, I think that's kind of an algorithmic resonance as well. And it's sort of in the way that an algorithm will feed you what you want to hear, it will also make you want what it feeds you. I think that's in a similar way how sound waves start to line up with each other. And it's just a path of least resistance thing, really. So I guess that explains my thought there a little bit. And I'm not sure what kind of call to action that means. I guess just be wary of what your algorithm is teaching you to both like and desire, because it may reflect a little, in part, what you're asking for. Well, it does reflect what you're asking for, but also it's kind of guiding you to ask for those things. So I guess that's my deep thought for the day. It was a good day. And as you've seen here already, the time lapse from my trip here, I've just decided to throw that on today's entry. And also there's just a little bit of footage I'll include from my work today. I only snapped a couple shots on my phone of the Senate room, and that's it pretty much. But it was fun. We started at 7 a.m. It was for a civic competition of some kind for high school. Pretty interesting setup there. Pretty interesting program. Yeah, it was just cool to it was a fun shoot. Just, mostly worked interviews all day, but we got a little bit of B-roll of the kids interacting and doing their thing. And so, yeah, it was fun. And after the shoot, I ran back to Gina's and Ben's and watched the football game with Scott, my oldest brother. And we had a good time just watching the Seahawks destroy the 49ers. What a good game for them. Bodes very well for their chances, I think, to get to the Super Bowl and win that as well. So, yeah, I think after that, since I found out that I didn't work in the area tomorrow, I've decided to head back to Utah. So I had to go pick up my memory cards from the producer's house, since he took those home to download the footage after our shoot today. And yeah, it was good. Picked that stuff up, got to hang with them for a little bit, him and his fiance, and then I hit the road. And I'm somewhere in Oregon. I just got into Oregon. I took a nap on the way here. It's around 5:30 in the morning. I'm just gonna keep plugging away, heading back onto Utah. And yeah, I think I'm not exactly in a hurry, but I'm not exactly going slow. I do want to get back so I can get back to working on my app. That pretty much handles it. It was a good day, good trip, well worth it. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Catch you all next time. Take it easy.